1 second is not a lot of time to animate anything, and we all know animations take a lot of time, so in this video I'll be attempting to animate Black Flash in 1 second and 1 hour. 1 second is not a lot of time, so let's see what I can cook up in a second. I was literally rushing and could barely animate anything, so this is what we're left with. This oddly shaped stickman. Kinda looks like he's going in for a punch though, I guess. For the 10 seconds attempt, I'll try to add the black lightning effect to the punch. I don't know if 10 seconds is enough, but let's find out. Alright, let's do this. I'll make him do a simple punch, and if I have enough time, I'll add the lightning effect. My fingers were shaky when I was drawing the stickman, so it was kinda hard to draw him normally. I quickly moved to the second frame in the last few seconds, and in 10 seconds, I only drew 2 frames. Fair enough, when given only 10 seconds, one can only do so much. This was the outcome of the 10 seconds attempt. It's barely even a punch if we're being honest. 10 minutes is decent enough to finish a punch animation and add the black flash effect. Let's see if I can pull it off though. The idea I have in my head is to make the black stickman do some sort of slow-mo punch on his opponent's stickman. After animating the main action, I could add some effects to it. In 3 frames and under 2 minutes, I was able to make the punch swing. I might not have enough time to it in betweens, but I'll see to that. I could have called it quits here and moved on to the opponent getting punched, but the animation didn't seem finished enough for me, and I wanted to add some sort of delay after the punch, so I kept on tweaking the stickman and adding some frames to make it look better. After I added head to the black stickman, checking the time with only 5 minutes left, I quickly hurried to animate the other stickman getting hit. I hoped I would have time for the black flash effect animation, but from the look of things, that might have been impossible with such limited time. I took a short pause to think of the best possible way to end this punch animation in 3 minutes and realized I could just make the red stickman fall to the ground, then I'll add heads to it after that. With only 2 minutes left, it became very obvious that I wasn't going to be able to add the black flash effect with such a limited time, so I decided to focus on making the punch look more impactful and animating the red stickman taking the punch to his guts. This is what I was able to do in 10 minutes. Just a punch, no black flash effect included. Seems decent enough though. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments. Now let's move on to the 1 hour time frame. For this 1 hour time frame, I had an idea for the black flash animation, involving just 2 scenes. First, the stickman raises his hands, then the divergent fist effect comes on it, then in the next scene, he does the black flash punch. 1 hour was enough time to execute this, so I was confident I would. I wanted the punch to ease and then quickly hit the opponent, then ease out, so it would give this sort of slow-mo effect when it hit, since I was animating with 24 frames per second. After 20 minutes, I had finished the black stickman action. I quickly moved on to adding the head, and in a little time I was done with the punch animation. After finishing up the punch animation, I quickly moved on to animating the divergent fist effect on a separate layer. I animated it on once because I wanted the effect to have a smooth feel to it. I kept on tweaking the layer settings just to get the desired glow from the divergent fist effect. I could do all this because I still had around 40 minutes of time left. One of my favorite parts of this animation was definitely working on the divergent fists effect because I enjoy animating effects. It's not because I'm lazy, wink wink. Seeing that I had just 40 minutes left, I quickly rushed to finish up the divergent effect animation so I could move on to the black flash effect. Nothing could stop me from animating black flash this time. The black flash effect was somewhat easy for me to animate since it was animated on once. I decided to add some impact frames and monochrome effect to make it look good and also to blind my viewers. As I mentioned earlier, I really enjoy animating effects, so I went all out on the black flash animation. I had enough time to work on the black flash effect because I had previously drawn the background for the animation on Ibis Paint X, so I wasn't going to start drawing the background again in this animation. This made the work easier for me. I checked the time with over 30 minutes left. I still kept on taking my time with the black flash effect because that's the main attraction of the animation, so I didn't want to do it poorly. That's why I decided to take take my time. Here I added some flares to the black flash animation to give the lightning effect, since that's basically what black flash looks like. After animating the effect, I had an idea to add some impact frames to make it look better. Unrelated, but if you want to learn how to animate these effects, you should check out the channel. I made some tutorials on them. Animating the impact frames didn't take any more than 10 minutes. After that, the whole animation seemed decent, and the next thing to do was to move on to the opponent animation. Although just for good measure, I added extra frames, since I looked at the time and I still had enough time to squeeze in a couple frames before the opponent stick animation. When I was contented with the impact frames and how the black flash effect had turned out, I got to the animation of the opponent on a different layer. I decided to use a different color. I went with orange, cause why not? I felt bad for the orange stickman. Taking that punch to his guts must have hurt a lot. Anyways, I decided to animate him getting hit on once, so it's smoother and builds up a little anticipation along with the impact frames before he gets whooshed away. Animating him whooshing away was sort of annoying because I was trying to get a good timing and spacing for him to fly out of the screen without it being too fast or too slow. So for the next 3 minutes I kept tweaking the whooshing animation and trying to add the motion blur effect to it. But seeing as I still had a lot of time left to finish up the animation, I wasn't in a rush and kept on tweaking and tweaking until it seemed perfect enough. After that, all that was left would be to add head to the stickman. With 13 minutes left, I started adding head to the orange stickman, hoping to have a little time left to add the background and any extra effect to make the animation look good. I imported a previously drawn background on Ibis Paint into my Flipaclip project, and on a new layer I added it as my background for the black flash animation. I didn't have to draw backgrounds in this animation again, so it would save me enough time. After the backgrounds had been added, I still had about 9 minutes of time to spare, so on a new layer I decided to animate some environment effects like dust and breeze whooshing by as the punch happens. I took my time to animate this part, and used about 3 minutes to finish up on it. Since I had enough time, I wasn't in a rush to do it either. I animated the wind effects on ones too, because it's smoother on 24 frames per second when you animate it that way. After I finished that, I went on to animate the dust on the ground as the orange stickman got whooshed away. Seeing that I had only 4 minutes left, I didn't spend a lot of time on the dust effect, and in about 3 minutes I was done with it. As you've probably noticed by now, most of my effects in this video were animated on ones, so the dust effect too was animated on ones, and just like other effects, I also enjoyed animating the dust effect. With less than a minute left, I quickly finished up the dust animation and added a few details to the animation. I took my time since I wanted the animation to be perfect after exporting it. I added sound effects and camera movements in the editing, and this was the result. Well, that's all. If you enjoyed the video, subscribe and check out other videos here. See you next time!